Welcome back to the show. This time around we're talking a lot about, I'm a big fan of Hollywood and all that kind of stuff. There's something really cool about the show business and movies and all the things that you see in movies that make it look cool, right? Because that's what it's all about. It's about how it shows up on camera and all that kind of stuff. That's always been something that fascinated me through everything. So anyway, we're going to get started here, and thanks everybody for tuning in to the show, the late night show here. We have in the box here is a collection that I have built over a long time, ever since moving out to a different state. Where I used to live in a state where you couldn't own some of these things. So anyway, bear with me. So now that I have a living in a place where it's actually legal to even carry one of these, even though I mostly don't. But anyway, here we are. We'll talk about that. And it's a switchblade collection. Yeah, all right. You've been waiting for me to say it. So we're going to talk about a couple of other things first. Actually, product of the night. And again, we don't get sponsored by any of this stuff or nothing like that. But it is Shimichrome or Hapitch, as my buddy that introduced me to this stuff years ago. He introduced it to me as Hapitch, and I guess that is, it is, but it's I've always known it as I always go Simichrome or Shimichrome. It is a really good metal polish. It's made in Germany, and this is very similar to Flitz. If you messed with Flitz, then you've kind of messed with this kind of stuff anyway. I've always, even though you can buy it in a can, which I actually own a can, I find the tube, the little 1 ounce tube or whatever, this is the best way to use it, really. It's the easiest. It's easier to apply and use it, and you really use it sparingly. A lot of other people do use other products and everything like that, but I have found over the years that when I was using this, it really does a wonderful job. It really does. And it's a great way to take stainless steel and make it a mirror polish. Stuff like I've got here, I use it on that. Also, we'll be talking about a book a little bit here tonight. It's a book by a late author named Jack Ketchum. Jack Ketchum unfortunately passed away, but he wrote a lot of books that... and I'm a big reader of. I read certain things. I'm really picky about what I read. My favorite author bar none is Stephen King. I love Stephen King stuff, and this is actually. I'll read you the little by the Entertainment Weekly by Stephen King that wrote in part for Jack Ketchum here. He says, "Who's the scariest guy in America?" Probably Jack Ketchum, the outlaw horror writer whose terrifying first novel is finally available uncut from Overlook Connection Press. That would be Off Season, the unpurgated edition. If you read it on Thanksgiving, you probably won't sleep until Christmas. Don't say your Uncle Stevie didn't warn you. This book is pretty intense. This book is pretty intense. It's basically it's about cannibals in the woods in a sense. So it's out there. This is the hardcover copy of the book, and you can actually get the paperback version of it. But it's been a while since I've read it, but I do recall it being pretty gory. So that's one thing that's neat about these authors like Jack Ketchum. There's some other ones that are pretty outlandish and out there. Definitely pretty insane. Wrath James White and Edward Lee and those kind of authors that have written some really off-the-wall stuff. Not for the faint of heart. It really is not. It's a pretty heavy read. Most of them are novellas. They're not so much of a novel. This is more of a novel. I believe this one here is up to about a couple hundred pages at least. So actually, maybe it's not. Maybe it's more of a novella. but I believe those are like 100 pages or so like that. But you know, I got a hold of this hardcover of it because it's actually a collector's item. I do believe it. It's not in print anymore. The hardcover is not. The paperback you can still get. So, all right. So we're going to cut down to it the switchblade collection, and some of these are a little dusty. I I have been infatuated and in love with switchblades since, I mean, watching them in film. And that's where it is for me. I love movies. You know, I'm a big Hollywood guy, and I love all the films that feature a lot of the switchblades. And you know, there's when you see that pop up on camera, I mean, that's the reason why they use it. It is so cool. Now, this one here is known as a swing guard, and that's what it is. The guard here, if you watch when I push the release here, which is known right here as the back release instead of a button release, or the guard up here release, this would be a back release. Now, this one here is a Frank, I believe his name is Frank Betremi. It's normally marked either that or Frank B, like this one is, Italy. And you push this hump right here, and it closes the blade, and you can see that guard come down with the blade. When it closes up, it lays flat like that. The scales, or you know, the handles, if you will. I mean, I'm not technical about anything. This is known as a honey horn. See it? Really cool. This one's got a pretty good snap to it, and this is known as an 11-incher. The 11s are the most, I think, the ones that really, to me, are the perfect size. They're large enough to look on camera, the intimidation on camera, and definitely have the good snap to them. And I love that swing guard, so I believe the 11 is the best. Now, you really want to get the granddaddy. You can get the 13-inch one, and I don't believe I have one actually. I don't think I have a 13, but the 13s are quite. Those are quite really cool as well. They really pop off the camera. Now this one here is another honey horn styled one, and I think, yeah, this one just says Italy on it. I got this one in a trade. It had some damage over here, which I actually repaired myself with some resin. But the handle was cool enough, and it's another 11-incher, and this has got a really good snap to it. I mean, this one really has a nice snap. Again, it's another 11-incher. It's a bayonet blade, a bayo blade. It's a little thinner than normal ones. You can see here. I'll show you in a comparison. It's a little thinner than your other blades. So I've always looked for different styles, and it's real sleek and thin. And you can see that style there. It's got that kind of clip point or false edge on the back. It's most common that you'll see is the bayonet blade. Now I'll show you this one here. Is not as common. You'll see a lot less of these, which unfortunately this is my favorite style, and they're harder to get. You got the standard black and chrome. I think this is a black horn scales on this one, and this is your more classic one if you like all those movies like you know, those old gangster flicks and everything. But this is known as a flat grind blade. So it doesn't have the clip point at all, but I just love the way it looks. To me, it pops off camera really well. It photographs very nice. It's very sleek. It's very thin and slimline looking, and I think, but yeah, definitely it's my favorite style right there. That's the classic right there, 11-incher. Sometimes you see them in 10. This is an 11, and usually what that means is it's a, let me see if I get this right. I believe you got a 5-inch blade with a 6-inch handle here, or the grip or whatever. So, all right, before we open the box and show you some other ones, here's a more of a different modern take on them. This is made by Benchmade, and this is known as a Auto Striker. And it's got the button fired up right there, and that's a little bit more modern, tactical, if you will, or tactical. The reason I have this and like this, actually, it's It's kind of interesting because I used to have a different version of this that didn't have the serrations. I gifted it to a friend of mine, and then later in life, or later down our friendship line, he gifted me one back. So I haven't carried this, but I like having it, and because of the movie Heist with Danny DeVito and Gene Hackman is the reason why I like this, because there's a scene where they're going to the boat and Danny DeVito says, "Yeah, pay you in gold. Give me a shiv." Guy hands it to him. He goes, "Yeah," and then he goes to try to do something on the boat. I've always liked that, and I had no idea that later on that's what it is. It took me a long time to figure out what he had. In fact, in the movie, this is a Elijah Witz design. So the one in the movie has actually got his name on it, but this is a later model, so that doesn't have a more modern model, I guess. But same knife, same deal. So, and the one he's got in the movie is serrated. So, all right, opening up my Dr. Martens footwear box. What we have in here, we have something different here. This is known as a leverletto. This one's a little beat up. This one's actually appeared in a couple of other YouTube channels that I've appeared on. This is known as the leverletto. I thought it was really neat because of this. Again, they got that kind of kind of old aged bone stag looking handles there, scales, whatever you want to call it, and this part right here folds down, and then you push it down, and that's what closes up the blade. Oops. That's what closes up the blade, and then the way you carry it would be like that. And then if you want to fire it up, just like that. So, really cool. Bottom kind of looks cool, but yeah, that one's neat. It's different. It's and I think that's a 10. Yeah, that is a 10 inch. So you can see here's the 11 and you got a 10. So pretty decent size. You can see about what that extra length does do for you. So kind of still a unique knife. All right, here's one here. This is this is known as a bat wing. This is a bat wing swing guard, and you can see here the swing guard has those kind of unique, ornate guards on there. Again, this is just I think this is a 9 incher. This is an Italy made one as well. All right. Now here's another cool one for the pile here. We'll fire this one up. I don't store them closed. I store them open so the springs don't wear out. I don't go around flipping them open all the time. I take good care of them. I mostly have them for collection, but this is a cool classic mafioso kind of mob. I call this my Scorsese knife because I feel like this is something you would see in like Goodfellas or Casino. It's got that pearl scales looking at with that beautiful polished chrome, and it's got that flat grind blade that I love. Oh yeah, isn't that cool? Look at that. That's awesome. So, all right, moving along here. Oh, we got a stag, another stag. This is cool. Another stag, and that one is another flat grind. Yes, and it's got a nice wicked point, really good snap. This one says AKC, I think. Yeah, it's another maker of them. All right, now moving on to this one here, but you know what, before we get into that, we'll show you these because this will have a lot more to do with those. I'll show you these. These are known as risottos. Risottos were around, I believe we're talking the 50s. I think that's, I mean, it could be totally wrong. I'm not a serious student of history on them, but you see it says risotto on there. These are all swing guards, and they have just the black scales, with the chrome parts, and you push button to close it, and then you fire it up just like that. It has a beautiful snap to it. The one thing about, and it has this little lanyard on the bottom, this bail, and I believe what that is, you close it and you pull the bail over that way, and then it locks the blade. You know, it's an extra safety precaution aside from the one that's here on the bottom that you can do. These here came in, that's the small size, that's another real common, but my favorite, obviously would be the 11 right here. In fact, Beverly Hills Cop 2, Billy, I think is, played by Judge Reinhold, comes up and Eddie Murphy's trying to open that desk or something, breaks his little knife, and then Billy Rosewood in it goes, "Here you are." And he says, "What the heck is that?" He's like, he goes, "It's mine. It's home protection." And Taggart goes, "Billy, we got to talk." But that's that is your classic Hollywood knife right there. These things. Now this is another Rizzuto. These have gotten so collectible for a reason that you wouldn't think, because they're so cheaply made, and how easily they are prone to they break. They don't last forever. This one here is the one that's in the best shape that I've got of another Rizzuto. White scales with another Batwing style swing guard here. Again, push button to close. Pops it open. It's got the bayonet blade. This is your classic, real cool factor. Again, really collectible. Really, worth a lot of money. Here's another one. This is an unmarked Rizzuto, and I found a lot of these. These three actually right here came from the same guy that I bought those from a show and a knife show. This one here I bought from another guy in a knife show, and this was an unmarked Rizzuto. It was fairly cheap considering. So again, push button to close it, and it's got a beautiful snap and awesome. Just that classic look. So there is another one that's around these, and these are really hard to find as well. And I try to take good care of this. It's known as the Korean Godfather. This is made in Korea. This is another, very cheap. It feels even cheaper than those. So you got to really be careful. But it's a copy of those, and it's a flat grind blade and everything. It just, again, it closes through the button, flies open with absolute amazing speed. Really cool knife, but super cheap feeling. But again, that's what makes it collectible. I bought this at a swap meet. I saw this in a guy's case. When he realized that I respected it and knew what it was and wanted it for the collection, he began to talk to me a little bit more and realized, because these knives, they got a bad reputation, and so that was really cool. But so that finishes up the Rizzuto swing guard part of the collection there. All right, moving on over to what I call the twins, which would be these. So these are both Italy marked, and they're both, I guess you say, the honey horn right there. The backs there, you can see them. They are both of these. I call them the twins because they're basically identical. I bought them from the same seller. I had to have these because even though the ones in the movie are black, I decided to change mine up and do a little flavors. The movie 31 with, directed by Rob Zombie. The actor Richard Brake plays the character, that carries two of these. And that's why I really liked it. I just like the way they look. Pretty sleek. They're they got their own fingerprints. I think that one's a little thinner than this one, but really neat stuff. Both are bayonet blades, 11 inches, and these close. I forgot to actually mention that and talk about that. These close by the guard right there. You see, you push down on the guard, and it closes up like that. And sometimes you can even push the button when you close the blade, so that pin is not overriding onto it. It depends your preference, and has a really good snap to it. So, all right, we're getting down to the wire here. Okay, this is one of those really neat ones that I got. There is two of these. Yeah, I bought them in a pair. This is marked. What is it marked? Import Knox. These are Knox. These are old ones that I bought. This is the smaller one. I believe this is what, the 9-inch or so. Beautiful snap, amazing, powerful snap. It's got like kind of a little bit of a false edge, just right there. But other than that, it has that really cool look that I like, that flat grind look, and of course the scales on it pretty nice. So that came along with this one, which this one I like because it looks a lot like the Dirty Harry knife that is used in obviously Dirty Harry when he says to Bressler, he says, nothing cute, nothing fancy, just delivered a suitcase. He says, okay, and he clicks one of these out, and the guy says, mind if I borrow a little bit of your Scotch tape? He says, it's disgusting. A police officer should know how to use a weapon like that. Very old. I got these in a pair from the knife shop. A guy had them there, and I said, you know what, I got to have that. So how much? And I bought it. They're definitely old. It's some tarnished. It definitely is tarnished. But also, this was in a few of my other videos here when we talked about the Model 29 and Dirty Harry and all that. The Model 29 being the revolver that he carries. This appeared in the video just kind of laying there on a table. That was this knife. A lot of people probably didn't get why that was there. So there's a lot of things that I put in those videos. If you're a fan of the main channel, there's a lot of things that are in some of those videos. Not all the videos, but there's things that I added in there that unless you're a serious movie buff, you probably would never get it. And I really have a lot of fun with that. All right, down to the last knife. Yes. Oh, is that oil or what is that? I hope that's oil or something. Oh boy, it's a shame. I hope it doesn't ruin this thing or anything. Another one of those lever letos right there. This one's really cool because it's just a black scaled one. Inexpensive, but boy, it has a really nice snap to it. Lever closes it up, and obviously, and it's got that really cool look. I'm a big fan of the the greasers, again, the whole pomade thing. So that definitely it adds to the collection there. So again, I hope that's not some some kind of lacquer or something got on it. But yeah, anyway, there it is. That's my Switchblade collection. I've collected them for years. I once lived in a state that they would throw the book at you for even having one. I'm very fortunate now. I don't live there, and I can actually have these things. So that's what's cool about it. And I guess one little last trinket in there would be a set of brass knuckles. I mean, you got to have one of those because that is just cool, and that's real brass. So, but anyway, there it is. Just wanted to show it and bring it out for you, and thanks for tuning into the show. It's been a lot of fun, and again, for me, this stuff is just pure Hollywood. I love movies, and you've always seen them in movies, so I kind of gained a collection of them. Just really awesome stuff to have, and just kind of collect. I one day hopefully can put these in a display case and actually mount them to the back of the case somehow, and strap them in there and everything so that they kind of display nice and have them up on a wall. I think maybe that would be cool. So maybe sometime we'll do that, right? So anyway, thanks for tuning in.